What's up YouTube, and welcome back to the DIY Beard. My name's Jez and I'm the man behind the beard, and as you can see, what we've got in front of us is some more cleaning products, which means only one thing, and that's back on the XV for another detailing video. So what have we got in store for you today? Well, basically what we're going to be looking at doing is what I like to use for a quick detail. So the bike's been cleaned, but we want to make sure that we're keeping that level of protection up on the bike. So I use just some simple products just to keep this bike looking absolutely gleaming. So what we've got today is of course we've got an Motorbike product. We've got Berry Blast, and that is a quick detailer. Now this can be used as a clay lube if you dilute it down. However, I like to use it just as a quick detailer in itself, so we use that neat. What I've also got is, this was recommended to me by my Uncle Ross, and as we know his bike looks fantastic year round, and that's Muck Off Silicone Shine. Now it is a product that you can use on all surfaces of the bike, but what I'm looking to actually use it on is some of the plastic castings on the airbox, the top of the engine cases, and just generally on the engine itself to give that a nice shine. It's supposed to give it a nice bit of protection as well, so we'll see what results we get from using that. Now the bike's not looking as clean as it did before. We've given it a quick wash over, but I'm hoping these products just restore that level of cleanliness back to the bike and keep it shiny and give it a good level of protection. Once we've applied the products, the last products I like to use is Pt3. Now Motorbike's currently on Project 64, but as I've said to you before, a little bit goes a long way, and I've had this well over 12 months and we're still not come to the end of that bottle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place you to one side. We're going to give the bike a good spray of the quick detailer and give it a wipe down and have a look at the results. Right, so first things first, what we're going to use is the Motorbike quick detailer. Now what I like to do is start from the top of the bike and work all the way down. The reason I do that is, well, I do that every time I wash, and basically it allows me to make sure that I've got every single inch of the bike washed, protected, coated, whatever you want to call it. It just means I don't miss out on anything at all. So what I'm going to start to do is pretty much around the headstock area. So we'll give it a bit of a mist, don't need much at all, and then with a, make sure I've got a right one, with a clean microfiber cloth, what we tend to do is we just give it a quick rub over. So like I said, what you do is you get in all the little nooks and crannies, make sure you don't miss everywhere. And then once I've gone over the entire bike, what we then do is we get the buffing towel out. This is a really nice plush one again from Motorbike itself. And we give that a lovely clean over just to give it a bit of a buff. Once we've done that, we'll move over to the muck off and we'll see what results we get of that. So what we've done is we've gone all over with the quick detailer spray. We've gone everywhere, from all over the engine cases, all on the fins, on the plastics, you name it, we've covered it and we've gone all over it. And to be fair, if you look at the state of the cloth, even though we've give that a good clean, you can still see some dirt that's come off there, and you'd be surprised where that dirt hides. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a very plush microfiber cloth and we're going to give that another rub down just to get it all off. Now the reason that I do the whole bike in one go is what I like it to do is to fully haze and to fully cure before I start stripping that back off. That way what I know is all of the protection that I've just put on from that quick detailer has been rubbed into every nook and cranny, but also had time to cure and harden on top. So when we then wipe it off, we know that we've got a good layer of protection. Now I'm not going to sit here and bore you and watch you rub my bike down. I mean, that sounds a bit rude, but you know what I mean. I'm not going to bore you with that. So what I'll do is I'll quickly give it a buff down and we'll move on to the next product. So that's quick detailer and that's the berry blast all out of the way. So far so good. In my eyes, we've got a really good deep shine. I mean, if you look at some of the shine on that black, it's immaculate really, but I know we can do one better, especially on these areas. So the engine casing, the top of the V-twin, the air intake, all of the plastics really, I know we can go that one step further, and that's what I'm going to use this for. Now in all honesty, I've never used this before. This was something, like I said, that was recommended to me by Ross. So I'm going to follow the directions and I'm going to use it on all of the plastics. Like I said, I'm going to use it on this bit here. Oh, sorry, that bit there, just to give it a good shine. Not going to get it. Why am I firing the lid everywhere? I have no idea. Now, it doesn't matter too much if I get that on the tank. So we've given that a bit of a shine. And what we'll do is we'll get it on the swing arm. Now, as you've seen there, I've really worked hard to make sure that I definitely don't get that on the brakes. Because, obviously, what we don't want is any interruption to braking, because all the hard work that we spent building this bike, putting it together and cleaning it will be absolutely ruined if I come off it. So we give that a buff on, and as you can see, I mean, wow, that's instantly brought a great shine to all the plastic work on there itself. So let's keep rubbing that in and then we'll show you the overall result. So that is the muck off silicone shine all applied to the bike. As you saw, I started off with that on the airbox and then on the top of the engine. Really impressed with the level of gloss that I was getting out of that. So I then started to move on to the battery box, and on the left side of the bike the fuse cover. The product was so easy to apply just because it's in an aerosol format that I used that into some of the really hard to reach places around the exposed frame. We took that up and started to use that around the forks and the gauge, mainly because you find that because it's such a busy area, it's got some really hard to reach places. And the fact that it's in an aerosol form, it gives you this really fine mist. So it got into all those nooks and crannies. Some of the things that you find with a detailing spray is, because it's not in a mist, you start to get droplets. And if you then can't get in there with a cloth after, it leaves a little bit of residue. But the muck off silicone shine had no problem really with that. One thing I would say is, because it's aerosol based, you can definitely tell that it's got some sort of evaporation product in it, whether that be some sort of alcohol. So what I would do is I'd do a little bit at a time. So like I said, I started off with the airbox and the engine covers, gave that a rub down and a buff, then moved on to the battery cover, and then moved up to the forks, etc. And I found it so much easier to apply in that way. Now, I'm usually all about auto bright life, but I can assure you that I will definitely be using that product again in the future. Obviously at this point I can't comment on what the overall protection value of that is going to be, just because it's the first time that I've used it. If I find for any reason it doesn't, quite come up to scratch on my usual standards, I'll obviously let you guys know, but so far so good, and I'm really, really impressed with that product overall. Now, just before we do pack up for the night, I am just going to use some Pt3. Now, for those that have not used this before, this is a gloss enhancer, and as I said to you at the beginning, with Motorbike products, a little bit really does go a long way. So what I'll do is I'll just put a couple of squirts on the front mudguard, the petrol tank and the rear mudguard. We'll then get a microfiber cloth and we'll give that a good rub in, just so we get a good level of protection. We'll let that haze off just for a couple of minutes, just so it can sort of cure a little bit onto the paintwork. And then what we'll do is we'll go over with the mini repit and we'll give that a buff off. Once we've done that, what I'll do is I'll come back and I'll show you guys the results. I'm not going to bore you with showing you how to apply it. There are plenty of videos on there telling you how to apply a spray wax, and then certainly showing you how to rub and buff that off. So I really don't want to bore you guys. I just want to show you the overall results that we get out of these products. So we'll get that applied now and I'll catch you in a minute. So that's the Pt3 all applied to the bike. As you saw, we sprayed a couple of squirts on each panel. So that was the front mudguard, the petrol tank and the rear mudguard. What we then did is we got a microfiber cloth and we give that a good wipe down, just to spread some of that liquid across the bike itself. Once we'd given that a good wipe over, we then give it a few minutes just to haze and dry off. And then what we did is we got the mini repit and we did a good buff across the bike itself. And I think you'll agree, she's looking like new. In fact, I think she's looking better than new. I really can't fault the products. I've said, a million times before that the Motorbike products are quality and you really do get what you pay for. And I just can't say that anymore. I was really, really impressed with the silicone shine. That for me is definitely going to be a staple within my quick detailing kit. We applied that to the plastics, so the battery cover, the air intake. I even used it on the hard to reach places around the front forks and the headlight, just because with it being an aerosol, it was so easy to lay that product down, and then we just took a cloth and give it a quick wipe over. I'll shoot you some cinematics in a minute so that you can see the overall shine of the bike. As I said, I'm really, really impressed in those, and I'll leave a link in the description below so you can find where to find those Motorbike products themselves. Now, unfortunately, I do have some bad news. The Star Bikers egg run this year has been cancelled due to the COVID-19 outbreak. I was really looking forward to attending that. And as I said, I was really honoured to be invited by Bloke Knowles and the guys who organised that to take part. Unfortunately, though, I think it is the right decision due to the COVID-19 outbreak. We just don't want to risk spreading that any further. And it's a real shame, but it's got to be done, really. Now, if you haven't already done so, please do not forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that bell notification. And then if you do like these sorts of videos, give it a quick thumbs up and leave me a comment on what you'd like us to do next. I was actually thinking of getting the buffing pads out and some of the Renew and glazes that we've got in the stock here, and getting that on the GSXR to see if we can rejuvenate that paintwork just a little bit further, just because it's looking a little bit sorry for itself at the moment. But thanks for watching, guys. It's been a privilege as usual, and I'll catch you next time.